Welcome. We're here with Janette today, and she's got a beautiful table she's worked so hard on to share with us. And here we are right at the cusp of Passover. We've been preparing for Passover, such a beautiful time of the year. It's a time to sort of take stock of, wow, did I buy too much bread this month? Or just a time to clear through the cabinets and cupboards and get that leaven out, and also be taking that spiritual assessment. And so that this beautiful Bible code is going to actually help us as well, just sort of align ourselves with YaHuWaH and his purposes for us at this beautiful time of the year, the new year. The new year has just begun. We're just a couple weeks into it now, and we are ready for your beautiful presentation, Janette. Shalom, sis.
Shalom, everyone. Thank you for joining us. You would not believe the problems that are coming on my PC, trying to get this to you. I hope we get through it with YaHuWaH's help. Okay, mouse problems, sound problems. So yes, this table, it is so beautiful. So it's YaHuWaH and the word for delivered, snatched, saved, all in one access term, as you'll see. So it's found in Isaiah 2:4 to 17:8. So it's quite a small table. The skip of it, the ELS, is 734, and in Strong's that means path, way, course, to travel and to journey. So that is what we're all on, isn't it? I just thought that was amazing. Okay, so I'm going to start with the table today. Let's just get you guys out of the way. Now, this is just a part of the table. I've only highlighted and put the words in for some of the words because I want to show you. Normally, I would just be delighted with this as a table because this is the access term here. YaHuWaH, YaHuWaH. And then for the word for delivered, snatched, saved, we've got Hey, Zadi, Yod, Lamed. So there's the Hey, Zadi, Yod, Lamed. And as you'll see, with the green circles going up and sharing a couple of the letters in YaHuWaH, delivered, snatched, saved, it's got, and it shall come to pass, and you shall be. Look at that. Isn't that wonderful? Over on this side, we've got Yod, Hey, YaHuWaH, YaHuWaH, and we've also got YaHuWaH here making the cross. As you'll see, this YaHuWaH shares the Wah with he will come. He will enter with the Yod Bet Wah Aleph. Yod Bet Wah Aleph there. This YaHuWaH has actually got a Lamed in front of it, so it's two YaHuWaH. Here we've got a Yeshua, and I'm going to keep them all that colour so it makes it easier to see. So he will come in a cloud. Look at this with the purple. He will come in a cloud and every eye will see him. This is just so amazing. We've got behold here, Hey, Nun, Yod. And this Hey is being shared with YaHuWaH, Yod, Hey, Wah, Hey, same Hey for behold, behold, YaHuWaH. And here, which almost is making Aleph, is two Yeshuas, Yod, Shin, Wah, Ayin. And this one here, Yod, Shin, Wah, Ayin. and the Yod here is being shared with, he will lift up, he will raise there, Yod Resh Yod Mem. And of course the Yod being the hand doing the work. So we've got some wonderful, wonderful things going on there. If we were to say that this was going to be an Aleph, here on the horizontal, with the purple circles, we've got my covenant. With the green circles, we've got they will understand, perceive. And we've also got, with the dark blue line here, in the days of. So you could almost make a sentence out of that. In the days of, in the middle of YaHuWaH, here they will understand my covenant.
That's beautiful, Janette.
Isn't it? Isn't it wonderful?
Yeah.
All the words that are going together and giving you like some validation for what is actually on the table. The underlying text, or taking all of, well, most of all of this, is, if I just move that up there, yeah, the 7 horizontal, the plain text is Isaiah 7:4, and say to him, take heed and be calm, do not fear or be faint-hearted, for these 2 stubs of smoking firebrands, for the fierce displeasure of Retzin and Aram, and the son of YaHuWaH. And that's basically just saying, don't be afraid. Their fire is going out. They're just smouldering sticks that can't do anything. Okay?
He's encouraging.
Yes, yes, exactly. And there's a slide on that too that we'll get to, because it was a couple of verses later that is really encouraging. So I've done in the cloud. Here in the turquoise, we've got your creator. So like your creator, and it's linked with to YaHuWaH, and he will come, enter. He will come in the cloud, your creator. So they're all linked in there together. We've got 4 a day in the red with the Lamed Yod. Where is it actually? It's not that one. Lamed, the red. We're looking at Lamed Yod Wa Mem, 4 a day. It's like an appointed day, a Moedim, as we're coming up to, as Darla was just explaining. We've got Yeshua again there. We've done, I'll go along the top first until 2 come together. We've got the bloody here, and there's a slide on that. We'll go into that later with the Hey Dalit Mem Yod Mem, and it's sharing the Yod with my kin, my flesh as in my kinsman. Okay, we've got YaHuWaH here, and it in the blue circles going through YaHuWaH, sharing the Wa, we've got he will be exalted, he will raise, YaHuWaH will raise, and he will be exalted and raised. Here in this pink, we've got you are precious, costly. Segula again, word. Here with this purple, directly next to the access term, we've got sing, shout for joy, and a shout is like a trumpet blast. But if it's saying sing for joy or a trumpet for joy, I mean, that would be happening on the day of Natsal, when we get snatched, rescued, saved. with these two purple ones here, he will redeem with the purple circles, and with this YaHuWaH Gimel YaHuWaH iron, it's the word about to die and breathe out. So it's like your last breath. When you're about to die and you take your last breath, he will redeem, he will rescue as a kinsman. Wow, I'm getting shivers.
Wow.
Yeah, I've done You Are Precious, Costly. As from sleep, here, Kaf, Yod, Shin, Noon. As from sleep, wake up. We'll get more into that soon. We've got another Yod, Hey, Wah, Hey, here, YaHuWaH, and it's with Behold, Share. So here's Behold down here, and the Hey is shared with YaHuWaH. Behold him, wake up, see him. The Aleph Shin Wah Bet, I will return. My covenant, I've said that, that's in there. Let me just move this over here. That's it. And remove, take, and YaHuWaH. I've done that. This particular vertical line is on the next page because I couldn't fit it all on round this table. Here coming up with the blue and the turquoise is You Are Precious again. And next to it, we've got As a Bride, You Are Precious. And next to it here as well, we've got the Beautiful. So we've got the As a Bride, Beautiful as a Bride, and You Are Precious. Look at these going up in streaks there. And As a Bride shares the Hey with the code there. The Hey Kuf Wa Dalit. So there's another remove, take, and look at what we've got here in a moment, in a wink, in an instant. There's a slide for that one. He will lift up, he will raise in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye. We've got calamities here with the Hey YaHuWaH Tar, the black there. This is rather special. We've got, how should I say it so you see the impact. We've got I will return with the Aleph Shin Wah Bet, and it's being shared here with the Yod Shin Wah Iron. So we've got Yeshua, yeah, and it's being, the Wah is being shared with I will return. But now if you look from the Shin, forget this Aleph now, from the Shin Wah Bet Kaf, it's you return, and still the same Wah being shared with Yeshua. So it's, I will return to Yeshua, and Yeshua will return. Can you see that? That's absolutely lovely. We've got commandments there, mitzvot, to awaken, we've got from sleep there, that's there to awaken. Iron Waresh Hay. Said the trumpet. So I think that's all on this table. It didn't take long. We can come back to the table. But moving on now for this vertical line here. In the red circles, we've got who he is going to render recompense. He is paying, and finished, to be complete, safe, make amends. Okay. With the black circles, we've got his deeds, works, acts. And in the blue circles, we've got openly, publicly, bet, gimel, lamed, wa. So his deeds, works, acts, finished, complete, safe, making amends, open publicly when they were during their exile. And this particular word as well, that's it in reverso, in Google reverso. So that's where we get openly, publicly. But Darla sent me on the chat GBT more meanings for the word there: to reveal, to uncover, to exile. They exiled, they were exiled. Okay. The exile of Israel or Judah, such as the context of punishment or prophetic judgment. So that's interesting too. Now this horizontal, that 7 horizontal about the firebrands being smouldering sticks. Isaiah 7:9, a couple of verses later, says, the head of Ephraim is Samaria, and the head of Samaria is only Remaliah's son. If you do not stand firm in your belief, you will not stand at all. And how true that is. Now, that puts another spin on, when is what we call the rapture, or being rescued, saved, snatched away? Is it before tribulation, during tribulation, after tribulation? We shall have a look. But standing firm during trials, I mean, we will all get trials during our lives. So whether it's one big, a period of 7 years, or we're all just going through it, each of us individually in many different ways, who knows? But we must stand firm in our belief. This is the access term there, YaHuWaH, with the saved. When I looked, just out of curiosity, at the whole of the column, the letters in the column, and I tried a few times to split them up different ways, see if they said anything different, but it's got there, YaHuWaH saved the oppressed. And on column 452, where it said of bloodshed, the Hadamim, I know this is one big long word, but splitting this up wasn't giving much joy. But having it like that, it says the blood of the innocent is gone. So again, that goes with being delivered altogether. Now, let's get this down here. Get that down there. Right. So column 452, the Hadamim, we were looking, weren't we, Darla, at what else, without the whole of the column, just having these words. Darla likes ChatGPT for some extra deeper meanings. So ChatGPT, funny enough, for the Aleph, this bit, the Aleph Wa Nun Pay, look at this. It's a branch or an offshoot to be angry, nape of the neck. So when you're talking about bloodshed and nape of the neck, I know what I'm starting to think of. A new or poetic word suggesting a branch, a flare of anger, or a twist of the neck. Blood guilt, violence, or martyrdom. Prophetic, mysterious utterance, a rebellious offshoot, wrath, and violence. And in my last table, we saw that Hamas meant in Hebrew violence, that now sings, testifying, or crying out. And over here, I'm just going to read the highlighted words. You can pause and read to your heart's content. The blood cries out in song, reminiscent of in Genesis where Abel's blood cries out from the ground, could symbolize how innocent bloodshed leaves a testimony. It sings out to YaHuWaH, possibly a warning. The deeds of the wicked will sing against them. And in Revelation 20, verses 4 and 5, it says, "And I saw thrones, and they sat on them, and judgment was given to them, and the lives of those who had been beheaded because of the witness they bore to Yahusha, and because of the word of Elohim, and did not worship the beast nor his image, and did not receive his mark upon their foreheads or upon their hands. And they lived and reigned with Messiah for 1,000 years. And the rest of the dead did not come to life until the 1,000 years were ended. This is the first resurrection."
That's beautiful, Janette, how you presented all that, by the way, I just got to say.
Ta-da, sister. Ta-da. So again, blood, the bloody, this is it in Strong's now. The violence again, see, blood is central to the sacrificial system, always has been, symbolizing atonement and covenant. Also played a crucial role in covenant rituals, such as the covenant between YaHuWaH and Abraham. Okay. So the ELS, if you remember, the skip, the number of the skip was 734, and it meant path, manner, course of one's life or conduct. This is, if we follow YaHuWaH, we get the blessings. If we turn away from him, we'll get the curses. Course of one's life, of living that aligns with divine instruction or wisdom, his commandments and statutes. Hallelujah. I have kept me from the paths of the destroyer. So we're on the path to following YaHuWaH. To become, come to pass, that was in the table. To exist, to happen, to come into being, basically. There we are, coming into being. This verb is pivotal in expressing states of being and the unfolding of events. It is frequently used in the context of YaHuWaH's self-revelation, as seen in the divine name, I am. Wow. The use of Haya in the context of YaHuWaH's name underscores his eternal, self-existent nature, distinguishing him from the deities of the surrounding nations. So let's have a look at and to die and last breath. So that's the word gavah, to breathe out, expire, to perish. It is often used in the context of describing the death of individuals, emphasizing the act of breathing one's last breath. The term conveys the finality of life and the transition from life to death. It is used in the Hebrew Bible to denote the physical death of a person, often in a peaceful or natural manner. Wow, a peaceful or natural manner. The use of YaHuWaH in Hebrew Bible often highlights the mortality of humans and the sovereignty of Elohim over life and death. Die, be dead, give up the ghost, perish. So that word that's in the table is not any breath Hebrew word. I could have had a few. It was actually the very last breath that we take. That's how important this is. So in Genesis 2:7, it says, and YaHuWaH Elohim formed the man out of the dust from the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being. And in Job 33:4, the Ruach of El has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life. And Ecclesiastes 12:7, and the dust returns to the earth as it was, and the Ruach returns to Elohim who gave it. We all have an appointed time. We're all on this earth because YaHuWaH has brought us here. He's the one who has put that breath into us, his Ruach, and he's the one who says when it returns to him. Harpazo, Rapture, we've heard the rapture being called that before, or Zelle. Let's have a look. So for those who say they can't find the actual word rapture in the Bible, we have to start with knowing where that word originates. In the first 1 Thessalonians 4:17, it says, then we who are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet YaHuWaH in the air, and thus we shall always be with YaHuWaH. Caught up is harpazo in Greek and rapturo in Latin. The Latin is where we get the English word rapture, which means snatched away. But is that a good description of what we assume is going to be a wonderful thing and taken to YaHuWaH's bosom? Let's have a look and see what these harpazo and rapture give us. So in Strong's, the Greek G726, we have harpazo. It sees, snatch, attained by robbery. Well, that's not good. It sounds like being kidnapped. Properly seized by force, there you go. Snatch up suddenly and decisively, like someone seizing bounty, a prize. Openly display of force or secretly. And here it says the Greek term harpazo refers to a phenomenon described in the Bible scripture in which individual persons are lifted up, raptured alive by YaHuWaH from this physical world and brought into the spiritual dimension of YaHuWaH or to another place on earth. A sudden and unexpected pickup or taking away takes place with a simultaneous liberation from this unjust world over to the love and security of the Divine Father. In common parlance, the term taken up into heaven is simply used. Well, I don't like any of that, meaning it's not what we're going to have a look at now in a moment. And here the rapturo, the Latin, the Greek word translates as harpazo, but the Latin is rapturo. Sounds like a raptor, doesn't it? Take away, snatch, take away. Okay, so Now to look at the Hebrew, the wonderful, beautiful, rich Hebrew meaning of the word natsal, which is to deliver, rescue, snatch away, save. It often is used in context where Elohim intervenes to save his people or individuals from peril. And the Israelites often found themselves in situations requiring divine intervention, whether from enemies, natural disasters, or spiritual bondage. The act of deliverance was a testament to Elohim's sovereignty and his commitment to his covenant promises. Now, look at that. Isn't that different? Isn't that looking at the covenant that he's made with us, that nothing will come near us? No, sure, we might die, but that's not what he means. We're going to be taken to him to snatch away at all, defend, deliver self, escape, without fail, part, pluck. In a moment, in an instant. So again, we've got moment, instant, short time, a wink. That's it, in the blink of an eye, a very short space of time. Moment of divine intervention, not just any blink, a brief period of suffering, a brief period. Okay, underscoring the immediacy and impact of divine action or human decision. I think as our last breath is being drawn, that he snatches us away out of our body. That's what I'm getting in the blink of an eye. And this is the meaning: inclines, returned to rest after wanderings. He moved, set in motion, disturbed, again, twinkling of an eye. That's what I'm getting as I worked on this table. 1 Corinthians 15. And this I say, brothers, that flesh and blood is unable to inherit the reign of Elohim. Neither does corruption inherit incorruption. The pictures that we've all seen of a pile of clothes left on the ground and that our bodies get taken up into heaven in the rapture, that's not true. It'll be our bodies that are left in a pile on the ground, because it says we shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. There you go. So it's going to be a Moedim. For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruption has to put on incorruption, and this mortal to put on immortality. And when this corruption has put on incorruption, and this mortal has put on immortality, then shall come to be the word that has been written: death is swallowed up in overcoming. He has overcome the grave. He has the keys to death and hell. And 1 Thessalonians, we've already read a bit of, because the Master himself shall come down from heaven with a shout, with the voice of a chief messenger, and with the trumpet of Elohim, and the dead in Messiah shall rise first. Then we, the living, who are left over, the remnant, shall be caught away together with them in the clouds to meet the Master in the air, and so we shall always be with the Master. I hope this is becoming clear and making a bit of sense for anybody who might be a bit confused. Okay, so now when is this likely to happen? See, Revelation 1:7. He is coming with the clouds, and every eye shall see him, even they who pierced him, and all the tribes of the earth shall mourn because of him. Yes, amen. Matthew 24:29. And immediately after the distress of those days, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give its light, and the stars shall fall from the heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then the sign of the Son of Adam shall appear in the heaven. And then all the tribes, again we saw that in the last slide, shall mourn, and they shall see the Son of Adam coming on the clouds of the heaven with power and much esteem. And he shall send his messengers with the great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his chosen ones from the four winds, from one end of the heaven to the other. And that's Matthew 24:29-31. And 1 Thessalonians 5:9-11 says, because Elohim did not appoint us to wrath, but to obtain deliverance through Master Yahushua Messiah, who died for us, so that we, whether awake or asleep, should live together with him. Therefore encourage one another and build up one another, as indeed you do. And Matthew 10:28, and do not fear those who kill the body, but are unable, to kill the being, but rather fear him who is able to destroy both being and body in Gehenna. And Luke 12:4-5, but I say to you, my friends, do not be afraid of those who kill the body, and after that are unable to do any more. But I shall show you whom you should fear. Fear the one who, after killing, possesses authority to cast into Gehenna. Yeah, I say to you, fear him. And Hebrews 9:27, and as it awaits men to die once, and after this the judgment. And John 16:33, these words I have spoken to you, that in me you might have peace. In the world you have pressure, tribulation, but take courage, I have overcome the world. And John 17:14-15, I have given them your word, and the world hated them because they are not of the world, as I am not of the world. I do not pray that you should take them out of the world, but that you keep them from the wicked one. So when we go through our trials and dangers and sickness and death and whatever is coming at us or may come at us, let's remember this, that he'll be walking with us through it, as he did with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, through the fire. He didn't keep them from the fire. He was in there with them and protected them from the fire. And as they said, if we die, we die, but we will not bow down and worship anyone or anything else. So there we are. Ta-da, brothers and sisters. Thank you for watching. May Yahushua baruch you in YaHuWaH's name. And Luke 10:23-24. But I say to you that many, and turning to his taught ones, sorry, I was moving you guys out of the way. And turning to his taught ones, he said separately, Baruch are the eyes that see what you see. For I say to you that many prophets and sovereigns have wished to see what you see and have not seen it, and to hear what you hear and have not heard it. And thank you, Father, for being with me through this presentation, because I know there's forces trying to stop me. My voice is on its way, and I pray it goes to the lost sheep to strengthen them and bring them back to you.
Hallelujah.
Okay,
Hallelujah.
table.
Yes, please.
Did you enjoy that, girls? My sisters, my miss.
That was incredible.
Oh no, it's this one we want, isn't it?
That was lovely, Jan.
Well, it's all Father's work. I just found it difficult to stop finding terms for this one. I didn't know where or how it was going to go. I thought, let me just have a look. I mean, sometimes I find tables and I don't share them because they don't really come to much. Well, I think they're not coming to much, but I can always feel when the Ruach HaKodesh is working, and it's from heaven. You know, it's not what I think should be in there, it's what I'm led to find. And it's a wonderful feeling that when the terms all start coming, and when I look it up, and then I think, oh, I must do a slide on this, or I find a slide when I'm looking at another slide, and then I think, oh, I must see if that term is in there. And it's like it all comes together sort of bit by bit, line upon line, precept upon precept. So it's just an honor and a privilege to bring it to you all.
Jeanette, before we go any further, looking at any specific verses under your codes here, I asked ChatGPT, what is the theme running through Isaiah 2 through 17? And it says the theme running from these chapters is a sweeping prophetic vision of judgment and restoration, both for Yasharel and the nations, with the ultimate goal of Yahuwah's reign being established over all the earth.
Oh my.
Yeah, it says from Isaiah 2 to 4, the day of Yahuwah, the theme is the pride of man will be brought low, Yahuwah alone will be exalted. And I'm just doing the quick notes here. Isaiah 5, the song of the vineyard, Yahuwah's disappointment in Yasharel's fruitlessness. It says Yasharel is compared to a vineyard that should have produced tobe or good fruit, but instead bore rotten grapes. It ends with woes pronounced on wickedness, greed, injustice, and rebellion. Isaiah 6 is the call of Yeshayahu or Isaiah. The theme is the kadoshness or holiness of Yahuwah and the prophet's commission. Yeshayahu sees Yahuwah on his throne surrounded by seraphim or angels crying Kadosh, 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 which we holy. He's sent to a rebellious people with a message they won't understand until cities are desolate and only a remnant remains. So that's when they will understand the message. From Isaiah 7 to 12, it's Emmanuel prophecies and Assyrian threat. The theme is deliverance will come through Yahuwah, even amid threats from the nations. And Isaiah 13 to 17, oracles against the nations. The theme is Yahuwah judges the nations for their pride and cruelty. Chapters 13 and 14 are Babel or Babylon, which I think is so interesting because Babylon's not in the Hebrew. It's only Babel, which means confusion. So Babel will fall for its arrogance. A remnant of Yasharel will return. So it's going to fall because of its arrogance. Chapters 15 to 16, Moab's destruction and weeping. And then chapter 17, Damascus or Syria will be a ruin. Ephraim, that's northern Israel. That's also a code name for the 10 northern tribes. Ephraim will also fall, but again, a remnant will turn to the Kodesh one of Yasharel. The thread that ties it together, Yahuwah's majesty and sovereignty over all, man's pride and rebellion, both in Yasharel and the nations, judgment that shakes the earth, an expectation in the remnant and the coming messianic king, and a vision that all nations will one day acknowledge YaHuWaH as the king in Zion or Zion.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Holy. Yeah.
Well, I always love to know what is in the first letter in your table that's coded and the last letter, and they look like they're both ayins.
Yes, they are.
See.
Yes, they are. We've got one here and that one down there, and they're both, this is Yeshua. Yeah, they're both Yeshua, the begin and end, the Aleph and the Ta, the beginning and the end. Wow. And the strength of the covenant.
You want to look at the what the verses are there under the ayins?
Yeah, I'll have to stop screen share and bring up the live table on keys. So
Okay.
I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to look at on here.
Yeah, if there's anything, Tessa, you want to look at, it helps her if you give her the column and the row. I've already got it.
Yes. And what word it falls into.
Oh, that also helps. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm just laying here, and I just think that is absolutely beautiful, the table. When you pointed out that there was almost an aleph and a tav when you're looking at it visually, and then I seen the wah in the middle, and that's oat. Aleph, wah, tav. That's the sign.
Yes. Tessa. Yes, it is.
I just think that's amazing.
I didn't see that. So
The beginning, the end, but you've got the hook in the middle. It's just beautiful.
Okay.
all right. Yeah, I'll stop share and bring up the table, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And did any verses come up that you already noticed that you wanted to share?
Well, I do have a couple written down. Get out. I'm just so thankful that I got through the presentation, because I tell you, it has not been easy. The last couple of been really strange things happening on with the computers, the tablet. Things will stop working, then it starts working again.
Yeah, we live at such a highly disposable time as well. Like if you buy something, you can expect it to last a year, maybe. Or if you buy a 2-year warranty on it, then two years and 1 month out, it's going to break. That sort of thing. Highly disposable.
Okay.
They want you to keep buying stuff.
Please.
If it lasts a long time, like it did when our grandparents was going, I mean, refrigerators, it wasn't uncommon to last 75 years.
I was just thinking about that, Christy, while she's pulling up her table here. We have this refrigerator we bought used, and it has lasted the 6 years we've been here on the farm, and it's called Higher. I think it's possibly Jewish because it has a Shabbat setting on it where you could technically shut that thing down so it could not be opened during Shabbat. So I have a suspicion it's Jewish, but this thing is just run and run and run, and I've never heard of Higher before, Haier, but I really am like, I would be stupid not to buy a refrigerator made by Higher in the future.
right?
It's funny you say that, Christy and Darla. When we had the cyclone here in Australia, the day before, Mum's 33-year-old freezer packed it in. And nowadays they have freezers that you can get a 5-year warranty, but they'll only last for 6 years. So
Exactly.
Ah.
It's talking about.
yeah,
Yeah, that's kind of like the human body, right? If it has sort of a self-healing mechanism like doing things natural and prayer, then that doesn't make a customer for repeat medications.
yes, well said.
Yeah. I have to speak in code these days.
Mhm.
Okay, so the first underlying letter is actually part of the access term, as you can see there, the last letter of being spared, delivered, rescued, and it's Isaiah 11:9, and it's, they shall not hurt nor destroy in all my Kodesh mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of YaHuWaH, as the waters cover the seas. So
As
that's,
in the days of Noah.
yes, well, yes. So we'll say no more there. 437. Let's have a look. 43. Sorry, I've got bad eyes. I don't know if it's 13H. I don't know if it's eye strain or allergy. I do get allergy this time of year. So please be patient with me. So this is the YaHuWaH here. That is part of the word about to die. Okay. And it's Isaiah 10:26. And YaHuWaH of hosts shall stir up a scourge for him, according to the slaughter of Midian at the rock of Oreb. And as his rod was, upon the sea, so shall he lift it up, as he did in Mitzrayim, Egypt. To
That's
lift,
Passover time.
yeah. And again, we've got an Aleph in this same 437. Which Aleph is it? This one? Yeah, 6 horizontal. And that's Isaiah 6:5. Then said I, woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For my eyes have seen the King, YaHuWaH Zabaoth, YaHuWaH of hosts.
Oh, Jeanette, you can't make this stuff up.
Yeah. And the bait in reveal, which is 375 vertical. Is it 375? Can't be 375. Oh, this is 375. Sorry, I was just thinking it would be on the other little bit of a table that I did this line on, but of course it's here. Bait, where are you? There we are. Going blind today. So this is Isaiah 10:24. Therefore, thus says YaHuWaH, Elohim of hosts, O my people who live in Zion, be not afraid of the Assyrian. He shall strike you with a rod and shall lift up his staff against you, as Egypt did. So again, it's telling us not to be afraid. So you wanted to see the first iron, Darla,
Yes.
which is ironing Yeshua. Okay. And it's Isaiah 2:12, for the day of YaHuWaH of hosts shall be upon everyone who is arrogant and lofty, and upon everyone who is lifted up, and shall be brought low.
Wow.
And the last one, which is an iron again for Yeshua, is Isaiah 16, verse 4. But now YaHuWaH has spoken, saying, within 3 years, as the years of an hireling, and the esteem of Moab shall be brought into contempt with all that great multitude, and the remnant shall be very small and feeble.
Wow. Amazing.
Talking about the remnant again.
Small and feeble remnant.
War weary.
Yeah, wearing out of the saints.
Within 3 years too, that's interesting.
So interesting.
2028.
Very interesting, Janette.
Yeah. No, he's definitely speaking to us in this table, for sure.
Yeah, I was wondering about the COOF. It's in line 403, about 2/3 down. It's part of the word, the code. A code.
There.
Yes.
Okay. And it's Isaiah 11:8. It says, and the sucking child shall play on the hole of the asp, and the weaned child shall put his hand in the viper's den.
Oh.
Anything, Tessa? Did you?
I'm just having a look. What's on 444, line 444? If there's just I don't know if there's any letters
There's
underneath
a
it, but
kuf and there's a yod.
either one would be lovely.
Well, I'll try them both. So the kuf there is Isaiah 7:20. In the same day shall YaHuWaH shave with a razor, which is hired by them beyond the river, by the king of Assyria, the head and the hair of the legs, and it shall also sweep away the beard. Okay,
Wow. Mm.
and this yod is
So
Isaiah
that's one.
12:6. And cry out and shout, you inhabitant of Zion, for great is the Kodesh one of Yisrael in your midst.
Hallelujah.
Yeah,
Blessed be the word.
and it's for Yeshua. It's that Yod Shin Wa Lion. The hand.
Yeah, when you were saying the shaven, when somebody has finished the Nazarene vow, they can partake in the wine, the covenant. Anyway,
Yeah, was there in the tall shape on the left, was there a YaHuWaH that was shared between Yeshua and in a cloud?
Yes. Was it this one? I think it was.
Okay, got 3 different YaHuWahs there, so I can't recall which one it
Let's
was.
do them all. We've got Yod Hey. Let's do it this way. This is where I get confused. They've got Yod, Hey, Wah, Hey,
It might have been that YaHuWaH in a cloud.
Yod, Hey. It must be this one because this is
The
gold.
cloud started with a bet, right?
Yeah, so it's that then, isn't it? Yod, Bet, Wah, Aleph.
He will come. I
Um,
think it might have been I or forget which one the cloud word was in a cloud.
what colour was it? Let's have a look. I wonder if
Started
it-
with a bet, I believe.
Bet, Iron, Noon.
Yeah, that sounds right. Do you know where it's at?
But that's not got a wire in it.
It doesn't have a wall. Was it part of a tall shape? The
Um,
cloud word with it might have been with YaHuWaH. YaHuWaH in a cloud. No.
it was round here.
Okay.
Let's try them both. Isaiah 10-12. And it shall come to pass that when YaHuWaH has performed his whole work upon Mount Zion and on Jerusalem, I will punish the fruit of the arrogant heart of the king of Assyria and the esteem of his high locks.
That's also very reminiscent of what happened with the king of Egypt, and also any arrogant hearts that stand over the people.
And this one is Isaiah 10:26. And YaHuWaH Zavawot shall stir up a scourge for him according to the slaughter of Midian. I read that one already, at the rock of Oreb. And as his rod was upon the sea, so shall he lift it up as he did in Egypt.
What is that rock of Oreb?
Sorry?
What is that rock of Oreb? Do y'all know? Has anybody studied that out? There's some sort of a rock that's at the edge of the sea, I believe, if they haven't moved it. There in Egypt. Do you guys remember seeing any video on that? I think they might have even said Solomon put it there.
Oh, as a marker for where they crossed the Red
Yeah,
Sea.
maybe so. Uh-huh.
When I first read this, I thought it was about the rock of Horeb where the water came out of. Probably wrong on that.
That's what I thought too, Janette.
Okay.
Slaughter of Midian. It seems like I've been reading about that this week. That was it Joshua that was involved in the no, maybe it was Gideon. Gideon was involved in the slaughter of Midian. Anyway,
Oops. Okay. Are we
Yeah.
done?
we have 300 perhaps. Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful. I think it's very encouraging, Janette. I was thinking about in my days of being a Christian, and we're taught about the pre-trib rapture. Some people believed in a mid-trib rapture and others a post-trib rapture, but pre-trib rapture was pretty popular understanding. And as I woke up to keeping Torah and to the word of YaHuWaH, the front of the book, the 2/3 that my upbringing had ignored, I came to understand.
She did it.
She had a baby?
Yeah.
Okay, we just had a calf, you guys.
Oh, congratulations.
We thought it might be.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
You know if it's boy or girl yet?
Nope.
Okay.
I just saw that there's a little.
Oh my gosh, so exciting. Let me
Now
finish.
that's a baruka.
It is so awesome. Yeah. On the third, here in Hawaii, we're the new moon started a day earlier than the mainland, for instance. So every month YaHuWaH has a specific time change where there's not a date line, like man has just set a specific date line. You might say generally between Hawaii and Australia, but every month YaHuWaH has a new date line. So Hawaii, of the group here that's with us, Hawaii is it seems to be the first of keeping, day one was on the Gregorian day. Saturday fell on it, but as soon as you get over to man's date line, all of a sudden it's Sunday, right? So we're one day earlier on our it's just one long 24-hour day where the day begins. So we're just at the beginning of that. So our Passover is tomorrow evening, and so today is our 13th, and it's the 12th on the mainland, for instance. So we're really excited. We have this new baby, as I was saying here, I came to understand that there's going to be a second Exodus, which is so exciting. And I came to have an understanding of like, well, where's the rapture versus the Exodus? I believe the Exodus has to happen before any sort of a Christian understanding of a rapture. And I think it's really exciting. I've been reading a little bit this week, just sort of, I believe Ruach led, spirit led on things, timing that YaHuWaH in Genesis 15, he's putting Abraham to sleep, right? And then there's this whole conversation happening with Abraham while he's asleep. And there's this whole conversation happening, a cutting of the meat, that what you call cutting of the covenant. There's meat parts, there's animals cut in halves, 3 different animals, and then some birds there as well. But there's this smoking pot and flaming torch walking between or hovering between these pieces of meat. It's like, if I break this covenant, may what happened to these animals happen to me. So that's sort of the gist of cutting a covenant. But Abraham was asleep there. So who was making the covenant? Well, it was YaHuWaH and his son, Yahushua. And so Exodus 12 tells us that on the self same day they came out of Egypt. So back in Genesis 15, YaHuWaH saying it's going to be 400 years, but Exodus 12 tells us it was 430 years. Well, that's because Isaac hadn't been born yet. He was 30 years after this whole Genesis 15 event happened, where Abraham was put to sleep and this covenant was cut. But he came out on the exact day. And I suspect actually that it was the 14th at Passover, because it says in Genesis 15, verse 12, and it came to be when the sun was going down and a deep sleep fell upon Abram. His name hadn't been changed to Abraham yet. That see, a frightening great darkness fell upon him. And he said to Abram, know for certain that your seed are to be sojourners in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. So anybody who's in a country right now where you feel like you've been serving, you've been afflicted, but here's what he says: the nation whom they serve, I'm going to judge, and afterward let them come out with great possessions. And then he tells Abram, now because we were talking about death in this table as well. Now as for you, you are to go to your fathers in peace. You are to be buried at a tob, or a good old age. Then in the 4th generation, which in this situation means 100 years. In the 4th generation, they shall return here, for the wickedness of the Amorites is not yet complete. So it had something to do about the Amorites, which were like in the land of Canaan, where they were going to be going. Their wickedness was not yet complete. But then it tells us in Exodus 12 that they were taken out that same day out of Egypt. So YaHuWaH does things on appointed times, It's just so amazing. We can expect it as part of his plan and purpose and character that he has to the day. He knows when these things are happening, whether we live and then we die, or whether we are part of a great deliverance and rescue and escape with great possessions and destroying of those countries that have oppressed and put the people in slavery, whether they know they're in slavery or not. We have an amazing redeemer and rescuer in YaHuWaH. And so that's all I have to say. It's a mouthful, but super exciting stuff. Always anticipate the Father's rescue.
On his appointed time, his mode.
It's
Yeah,
so
hallelujah.
it still goes with Jeanette's table today, what you just said too.
Yeah, and it's what the Father's brought me into this week, just studying and putting it in front of my face and building some excitement. And I have 4 young adults, children who live here with me, and they've been involved in getting the leaven out, and I'm getting ready to send one of them go get the lamb. It needs to get thawed, so we're ready to cook it tomorrow night. And just their participation in it and building what is it like, just building that, not, I don't, ritual's not the right word, but building that year after year after year, and the scriptures calls it a rehearsal. So it's becoming part of their fabric of being, is that we do this every year. We do this every year. So as long as the Father gives me my children to live with me, they are participating. Sometime they may move on into their own homes, of course, because they are young adults. But for now, every year we're laying this down. We're laying down why we're doing it, and he brings so much in. If we're just in his word, he will show us who he is and what he's doing. He has a purpose, and there's a time for it, and then there's a time to come out. So we're looking forward to the coming out time. Hallelujah. Well, thank you, Janette, for presenting this right before Passover. I think it's such beautiful. I mean, the timing is amazing. I'm not even sure you planned it that way, but
No.
you planned it that way, right, sister?
Yeah.
Is there anything else anybody else wants to add besides, happy Passover to everybody?
I actually found a root of horseradish for Passover. I was so excited.
That is so exciting, sister.
I prayed that I'd find it. Beforehand, I have not found any horseradish, but this time I found they did have it. So I thank Yah for it.
That's so great. I use wasabi. We stay away from vinegar, which means I'm making mayonnaise and ketchup, which are, staples in a young person's life. So I make those with lemon juice, and we just stay away from all vinegar things because in Hebrew it's hometz, and it's the same 3-letter word. So we avoid the vinegar stuff as well, and I make my own. But for the bitter herb, I just use wasabi. It doesn't have vinegar in it, and it is horseradish is what it is. Yeah.
Here in
And it's
Australia,
hot.
we've been using parsley, the curly parsley.
Yeah, I use parsley.
Yeah, I think I bring in parsley as well. In fact, he's passed on now, but I had a favorite uncle, or one of my favorite uncles was Lebanese, and we used to have something called kibbe, which is a ground round, like a ground steak with crushed wheat and parsley and cumin in it that he called kamoon. So my family calls it kamoon, but it's cumin. It makes a really tasty sort of Middle Eastern hamburger, if you will. Pretty yummy. And eat it with not sour cream, but yogurt, plain yogurt. Really delicious. If you guys ever get a kibbe recipe, Kibbe, delicious. Okay, sisters, I'm gonna close out now. I think I can get myself back over to our Zoom page here, and we just say shalom to you, and please have a wonderful Passover. It is the new year, just to embracing that this is when the new year begins. We're about 13 days into that, 12, 13 days. And we're seeing all the new life in spring, and YaHuWaH be with you, and have a wonderful Passover and Feast of Unleavened Bread. Shalom.
Shalom.
Happy
Shalom.
Pesach.
Hello.
Shalom.
Okay, we're
We're off, yeah?
off.
Yeah.
Great.
We're
Somebody
off.